Well, let's focus on the defense sector ahead of the budget, which is on Sunday. Now, India recorded its highest ever defense production of 1.5 lakh crores in FY25. Morgan Stanley believes that a 12 to 15% growth is possible, but we are looking at the budgeted growth for defense capital expenditure spending for FY27 in this budget. So the budgeted growth was about 13% in FY26, and in FY27 can that number, as many are saying, be between 20 to 25%. We have Giridhar Aramane, he's former Defense Secretary, now joining us. Mr. Aramane, great to have you with us here, sir. Thanks very much for joining us. Mr. Aramane, of course, is also our budget editor, so you'll hear from him, now on the day of the budget. He'll be with us to sort of, tell us what the announcements mean, and of course we'll analyze details after that. So let's just begin with that basic headline number, sir. What do you think? Is it possible that we see between 20 to 25% jump in the budgeted number for FY27?
Yes. Good morning. Actually, 20 to 25% looks very feasible in view of several developments in the geopolitics during last 2-3 years. As a percentage of budget, it's hovering around 13 to 13.5% over a period of time. 1% increase in the total budget outlay is going to contribute more than 1 lakh of crores. So we have to see in 2-3 perspectives entire effort. Firstly, defense capital expenditure itself is likely to grow, because many systems which were ordered previously last 2-3 years are going to mature in the current financial year. Further, the Government of India has approved emergency procurement for the services to replenish their inventories and stores. So that is also likely to contribute immense amounts to the entire expenditure by the MOD. Apart from that, there is complementary and supplementary expenditure from other ministries. For example, the infrastructure facilities being set up by the space, and also the science and technology departments are going to help the defense capabilities to improve further. I'm also very much excited by the investments in the semiconductors.
Right. Mr. Aramane, if I can just come there. So you're saying 20 to 25% is very much possible given the geopolitical context, right? That's the headline number. And when we look at this 20 to 25, we're talking about the capital expenditure number in defense.
Yeah, capital expenditure has to grow. Yeah. And also the revenue expenditure, especially non-salary revenue expenditure, is likely to grow, because the inventories which were partially exhausted during Operation Sindoor and later have to be fully replenished. So that is likely to ensure that the non-salary revenue expenditure is likely to go up.
Yeah. So this is the 1,90,000 crore budgeted number, right? That we're talking about for FY26. So 20 to 25% on top of this 1,90,000.
That is the capex. In fact, 20 to 25% is quite possible.
Yeah.
And I'm also talking about the equipment stores, etc., which also help the industry, defense industry, to shore up their production facilities. That is also likely to grow by 15 to 20,000 crores, approximately 15 to 20% again.
Yeah. So, when for viewers who are watching, and for investors and for companies, right, how much of what is budgeted? Because, ordering has been very strong from the government. Over the last 12 months also, and before that as well. So actually over the last 4-5 years, ordering has been very strong. When we look at this number, 20 to 25% increase, incremental increase, how much of that is to pay for orders already given? I mean, because those tenders, etc., will be finalized and given out. And how much of that usually is for new orders which will be given in that sense? I was told it's some 80-20. 80 is for already what has been given out as orders, and 20 is new. Is that correct?
That varies, especially in a year like this. The payments for the orders, current orders, also is likely to go up, especially with the emergency procurement kicking on. I expect that at least 25 to 30,000 crores additional expenditure on the current orders from the three services. This is an extraordinary year, and I think there will be a lot of expenditure on the fresh orders to the industry.
Is there a ballpark, a thumb of rule number? I mean, in that sense, a ballpark. I mean, these are very large numbers we're talking about in terms of how much of this is to pay for what has already been put out as orders and how much is new.
Yeah, see, the orders, current orders, which will be finalized and contracts entered into, will also mean some advances, some payments to the companies to start the production and to mobilize the entire production line. So that will be definitely be substantially more than the previous years.
Okay. Sir, how does India's defense spending as a percentage of GDP compare with other countries in terms of their spending? Since, right now you said the thrust for increased spending is the geopolitical situation. So what is the headroom to increase that over a medium term? And I remember, or I believe that during the Kargil war or post-Kargil war is when it had hit its peak. So could you provide some historical reference?
See, the expenditure, defense expenditure as a part of the GDP is around 1.5 to 1.9 over a period of time. But percentage of GDP is not the right measure for a country like us, a middle income country which was importing a lot of equipment from outside. So whatever we spend on importing is going out of the country and not contributing to our long-term capabilities. So percentage of GDP I will discount as a measure. However, looking at GDP as the total income of the country and how much we are spending on defense, we can be sure that it's more than 2% because, as I said earlier, complementary expenditure happening from certain civil and commercial sectors is quite high. In terms of the capabilities in this space, in terms of the research and development, we are spending through various other agencies the required amount to shore up the capabilities of our services. I would rather look at the total expenditure as a percentage of the total budget outlay, which is already 13% and above, which is the largest outlay for all the ministries and departments in the government of India. So that way, priority to defense sector has been always there, not only during Kargil or Sindoor, but this government especially has increased the capital outlay substantially over last 10 to 12 years.
Right. Mr. Aramane, if I can drill down and request you to tell us, right? So which specific areas will the thrust be in your assessment? And these things are, I mean, they don't change dramatically, right? I mean, the trend of the focus and the trend in terms of the focus of spending, say towards the Air Force, towards naval capabilities, things like drones, etc. I mean, those are longer run trends and more money. I mean, so there may be slight variations. So where should we expect a bulk of this increase in spending to be focused towards?
Capacity building plan is already in place. Capabilities also have been mapped out and the work is already on for several years. So the long-term capital expenditure will stay course like the previous years. Every year around 2 lakh crores of fresh approvals are being given. So that will continue. Apart from that, because of the recent conflicts in West Asia and Europe and in our neighborhood, we have to shore up the new age defenses and new age offensive weapons. The most important capabilities we are talking about are the AI enhanced surveillance, including satellite imaging and analysis, predictive modeling, including machine learning, etc. Then loyal wingman, both on the surface, subsurface, that is submarine and aerial. These are going to be major technologies which will require capability building. Swarm drones is another area where we can expect a lot of work being done by the services along with the startups and the established players. I am expecting that the quantum computing also will be firmly embedded in many of the systems in the defense sector. I foresee an age where quantum key distribution will happen in almost every communication for the government of India.
It's very useful, sir, to get a broad overall perspective, right? And I think it helps us focus on, you will be with us when the budget, of course, is being announced to point us in the right direction. But this is a very useful chat, Mr. Aramane, and we're so glad that you're with us. Thank you very much for your time here on CNBC-TV18. And, Mr. Aramane, of course, will be, as I said, our budget editor, and he'll be with us on the day of the budget on Sunday as well. Defense is